Today we are going to be talking about how you can integrate Paystack into your Laravel project, all right, without needing any package or installing any package. So this is the Paystack API page, documentation page. Now the first thing we're going to do is create a new Laravel project. Laravel new integrate Paystack. So that's the name of the project. Okay, so so I'm going to open that now our text editor. So in my case, I'm using Visual Studio Code. Okay, so already. So the first thing we are going to do, so let's talk about how payment gateway works, how Paystack works. So in any payment gateway, from your website, you are going to make a request to generate a payment link by submitting some data like email, amount, callback URL, etc. So once you submit the data, the endpoint, the API endpoint will generate a payment link. So you are going to redirect the user to the payment link. Once you do that, once the user is done making the payment, the user will be redirected back to your website. All right. So after then, you are going to verify the payment, right? Just to be sure that the payment has been made by checking the status. All right. So let's try to do that. Now, the first thing we're going to do is create a controller. That's the first thing. So PHP artisan make controller. So let's call it payment controller. Okay, so we should be able to see our controller here, payment controller. Nice. Okay, so let's try to create the first page. What's it called? The first page, just the welcome page. Okay, so function, let's call it pay, not accepting anything. So what we have to do is just return a view, so let's call it pay index. Inside the pay folder and then index. So that means we have to create a view. So we go to resources, views. So we create a folder called pay, like you specify the pay, then index. Now create an index file, index.bleed. You can call it anything you want. That's just my own specification. All right. So HTML. Your text editor should be able to do that too. So I'll make payment. So let's just say start payment. Okay, so let's run this project. PHP artisan serve. Okay, so that's running on port 8000. So neat. Okay, so now we want to access the route. So that means you have to create a route, right? And let's just create it down here. Get route. Get route. Call it pay. Okay. Sorry. Now we need the controller. Controller, we have to specify the controller and the function and the function. So call it payment controller. You can see my text editor automatically imports the payment controller. So if yours doesn't do that, you have to do that manually. All right. So be careful with that. So class, then specify the function. Okay. Perfect. So it says /p. So let's go to our browser /p. Perfect. So you can see here the start payment. Okay, so let's go to the real deal. Now the first thing we are going to do now is try to create a form. So I just want to make sure I cover some important part. So form post, right? Okay, so our route should be pay. So let's say route pay. You can use URL or any method you want. So just make sure you are pointing to that endpoint. So the first thing you need is cross-site quest forgery. You need that. That is very important for your form. Okay, so input. Sorry, I said import. Okay, so name, email. We need email. Okay, so let's specify a placeholder. So email address. So it is required. All right. For break, we need like 2 breaks, right? Can drop, give it enough spacing. So we need amount, and that should be number to prevent any form of complication. Enter amount, it's also required. Okay, and the last one is button to submit. So type submit just to be sure. Automatically it will be submit, but just to be sure. So submit fresh pay. So the route pay is not specified. Let's create that. The route pay. So the route pay, is a form. So that is a post request. So post pay. Alright. So that's the route pay. Now specify the controller, like that payment controller. Let's just copy this. So that will be make payment. The function will be make payment. So the important part is the name, because of the route we are using. So we are trying to point to that name, call it pay. So Laravel, we know that okay, that pay is a post request, so it's going to point to this. It's going to use this one instead of the first one. All right. So let's refresh. Perfect. So we have name, we have amount, we have submit. So once we submit, it's going to point to that make make payment function. So we have to create a make payment function. Okay, so function make payments, no parameter, accepting parameter. Okay, so so we are going to have like a form data that we're going to submit to request. Okay, so we have the email that was sent from the form, right? Request email and amount. That's the default. That's the 2 most important things you need. Request amount. So that's what we need for now. So break that. Now we want to submit this this form to to Paystack, so that we can generate a payment link for our user. So let's create that. Let's use a different function, right? We call it initialize payment. Initialize. Is that correct? Initialize. Or let's call it initiate payment. So that is going to accept form data. Okay, the form data we created there, and we're going to need the URL. That's the first thing. URL let's copy the URL just to save time. URL, initialize payment. Okay, so initialize, that's the URL. So we are trying to use core instead of using the normal or using the package. So we are using core. So field string is equal to http build query and the form data that will accept the form data. Now accept the form data. And okay, so what we did there, we are trying to convert it to a format. All right, we're trying to convert the array to a format that can be transported on the HTTP. All right, so okay, so just some core code. It's not a big deal. Okay. PT core PT URL. So the URL was sent. URL. Let me just duplicate this 3-4 times. Call 7 ch and the post. We're going to need the post. Right. That is true. Say that's true. Now the post fields. So I'm checking there that is it a post or get. Right, but now the fields. That will be the field string. Yeah. Okay. So then HTTP header. HTTP header. Okay. That will be an array. All right. Array. Will be an array. So that will accept the authorization key. Authorization. Yeah. Authorization. Sorry. What that means? The high authorization. Okay. So the bearer. I'm coming back to that. And cage control. No cage. So I'm still coming back to that bearer thing. But normally we are supposed to enter the secret key. Alright. So I'm coming back to that. So call set opt. Then the ch again. Call return. It's not getting that. Call opt underscore return transfer. That's true. Okay. And lastly, we are going to have a result. Second to the last. I want to get the result. Ch. So we're going to do close call. Okay, call close. So let's just return the result. So that is that. message, sorry. So we've returned it, so we are done with that part, that function. Okay, so let's go back to our make payment function now. So create a new variable called pay. So this, we want to use that function, initiate payment. So we supply the form data. Now I want to see what's inside. So let's see what's inside. Okay, so let's test our form. Test at test.com. I just copy that to our application. 3000. Okay, status false message, invalid key. Okay, because of the secret key we failed to add here, right? So let's go back here. It's not formatted well, so let's just do JSON the code. I should format the whole thing like JSON format. You see, perfect. So now what we want to do now is that in case you are calling from an API or maybe normal thing, so let's try to check the data we have given. So if pay, so why I did that is because of the internet. if the internet is off, for example, okay, let's test that. If the internet is off, let's turn on the internet. So if I turn off the internet now, see no. So that's why I did that, to check for the internet. So if the internet is, if it is no, we'll be able to check that. So if it is true, that is that, but else just return back with error. It's error, something is wrong. So it could be anything, so let's just use something that's generic, you know. Okay, so let's turn off the internet and see, and should go back and say something is wrong. Okay, but we can't see the error, so let's go to our view, the view page. So that error message is stored in the section, so let's check if there is that section. If section has error, all right, so let's end if so if that section has error, so we're just going to get the error from the section, kind of straightforward thing. Get, so if something is wrong because of the internet, all right, or if the internet is there, we have internet now, so the next error is the invalid key. Okay, so I'm just showing you this so that you can debug if there is any error. Okay, so and okay, so let's go back to our payment controller. So we want to check if so we want to check the status. So you see, you can see the status here, so let's just check that. Pay status is true, so let's work on the first part. So the first part, let's just do return back again, all right, with error. Pay message. So it's going to, now we have a message, All right, invalid key. So if there is an error, to return to that. So, there's an error, it will return with the message. So there's an error, you can see invalid key. Perfect. Now, okay, now let's work on the real deal. So okay, now we want to be able to generate a URL. So that we need a valid key. Okay, so go to Paystack. Oh. So I want to copy the down. So I'm going to copy the text secret key. Let's copy that. And we need an environment variable. Okay, so let's use an environment variable for that. So we call it Paystack secret key. Paystack secret key. I'm just gonna paste that there. Now in our code, the secret key, instead of using our secret key, I'm just going to append it or concatenate the environment and that environment variable. So let me put some space in and Paystack secret key. Perfect. So let's go back to our form. Let's go back to the form and the form. Okay, so let's submit again. Test 2200. You see invalid email address. So let's use another one. test@test.com. So let's say 4,000 naira at cover this case. Okay, so authorization URL created. Okay, so that means we have to redirect our user to this link. Okay, so this is where we are checking the update, right? So we have to do that here. Let's just remove this. So let's just return redirect to where? To that link. The data authorization URL. Let me just correct so I don't make a mistake. Okay. Authorization URL. That's just smooth. So let's go back and submit again. Voila. Okay, so we have the payment. Now the payment we have here is just for testing, so we can choose the status, maybe what happened, maybe it has been declined or anything. Okay, but now let's just test for status. Success. What happened? Nothing is happening, right? It's supposed to redirect us to that URL, but it's supposed to redirect us to the merchant website, but it's not doing that. So what we are supposed to do is add a callback URL. Okay, callback URL. So what's our callback URL? So let's use route. And now, before we go, we need to multiply this by 100 because the value that is sent here is in kobo. Okay, because the default currency is in kobo, is in naira, right? but okay, yes, amount should be in kobo. All right, so if you enter 200, that is like what, 2 naira, right? So if you enter 2000, so if you want 200, you want to pay 200 naira, that will be, multiplied by 100. Okay, so the currency, if the currency is naira, peswa if is in GHS, and cent if is in ZAR. Okay, so we have to multiply that by 100, convert this kobo to naira. Okay, now the route, we need a route for the callback. This is just a fancy way to write it. You can write it as you want. URL, I just want it to be, a little bit fancy, whatever that means. Okay, so the get request, the callback. Once the payment is going, the payment gateway is going to redirect your page. So that means a get request. So let me just copy this to save time. So it's a get, and it will be pay / callback. Okay, so to be payments callback. Payment callback. Now the very important part. So the name is going to specify, will be used for the route. So that will pay dot callback. Just like we used here, that will be the same. Okay, so the callback is going to do that. Now I think we should work on the callback first. Okay, so function callback, so that once we get here, you should be able to do the right thing. So it's a get request, and it's going to return a view, that is for sure. But what we want is what do we want? I don't know. Okay, let's just return view. Okay, so the view would be pay, just like inside the folder we created. Okay, callback page. So that means we are going to create a view file, the blade file, inside the pay folder. Okay, so callback page.blade.php HTML file. Okay, let's call it callback page. So let's do each one so that we can see everything is alright. Callback. Let's just call it H1. So our callback page is ready. So once we are done with our payments, the payment gateway is going to pick this up and redirect to it. So let's test again. So we've made the payment and we choose success, paid 4,000 and everything. Okay, so we see the callback. Now inside the callback, you can see some details like transaction ref and reference. Now the reference is the most important part. You're going to need that. Now we want detail and we want to see them here. So this is the callback page, all right? So we want to be able to get the transaction. We want to be able to verify the payment, all right? So that would be like another call payment. We are trying to make another call request, like we're trying to make another request, all right? So that would be verify payment, verify payments. That will accept reference. Is that correct? Okay. Okay, so we are going to need all this call code again. Okay, let's just type it. Call set apt array call So it's going to accept that call, and it's going to be an array. Yes. Okay, and first we're going to need call URL. Okay, let's just go to the payment page. So this is a verified transaction. We're going to need this call URL. Copy that and paste it. Yeah. Come on. Return transfer. That will be true. And call OPT encoding. That will be empty. Just leave it empty. Call OPT max direct. As in direct 10. Everything okay. So call timeout. Set that to 30. Call PT should be PT2. Call PT HTTP version. Okay. So call HTTP version 1, that's called 1, and the request, so that will be called custom request, that will be get, and HTTP header, let's just copy it from here, copy that, paste that down here, and that will be like an array. Now what you notice here is that we supplied the secret key, so it's the environment secret key and all like that. So that is that. Okay, so the response, let's get to response from the request. So execute, call, execute, call, and close the call. Let's just return. Return the response, and that is that for that. Okay. Now here we have a reference. We have to supply a reference here. So let's just supply the reference, and okay, please pay attention to this part carefully. Okay, so and okay, let's go back to the callback. That's where we want to verify our payment, right? Okay, so we try to verify the payment. So let's get the response. Store it inside the response variable. Response is equal to, so let's just decode it directly like that to avoid anything. So this verify payments. Now verify what? What's the reference? We don't know the reference. I mean, we know the reference. Okay, so depends on the callback URL, right? So the reference, so that will be request. Try to get the reference from the request. So reference. All right. So this will be supplied here, and everything will be good. So I want to see what's inside. I want to see it. was inside. Okay, unexpected token response. Yeah, that's what it's inside. Verification successful. Okay, but it's not decoded. It should be decoded. Come on, what's it doing? Okay, so message verification successful, and we can see the data. Now the status is what success. So you can verify like that using that, and so that means you can use this function anywhere. All you have to do is just what supply the reference and you are good to go. So just like this, we make another request, so we have to confirm if the payment is made, if the request is successful. Okay, so something is wrong if something happened, and if nothing happens and the status is true, because status is true here, it should continue, and if status is false, it should return the message, right? So I'm going to paste this here, and okay, so the response, it should return response message. So I'm just doing all this just to save time, okay, but you get the point. So the response, get the response, and if the response is null, maybe there's no internet or any other issue, should say something is wrong. But now we have the message. So if the status is true, you should continue. If it's false, you should return back and display this error message. There will be an error message here. Okay, so if not, you should just display the callback page. Okay, and like that means it's success page. So if you want to return to a success page or redirect, you can do that here. So just try to check the data using the function that I use now to know what you want. And if it's success, maybe you want to redirect to success page or a failure page or anything you want to do. So that's why I'm trying to display the content so that you can see, so you can pick whatever you want. Now the callback page, I want to supply the data, so data and the response data. Okay, so let's just supply the response data here, so it's compact. That's what I used to do. So if you have another way, you can do with data or anything. Okay, so but I think this works for me. So I'm going to supply data, and I think we are done on that part. Now I want to see the data. Okay, so let's create a table. Tbody tr td, another td. Okay, so we have status, and realize. Okay, just through that now. Data, we supply data from the controller, so we can see the data here. So the status, as easy as that. So we're going to need the reference, the amount, the fees. So there is possible the amount will be in kobo, so I'll do that. Just leave it there. Reference amount, fees, and customer email. Right, so the amount and everything is just there. That's just perfect. Okay, so I think we are done done. I want us to test the real payment. So let's just start all over again. Fresh start. So test at test.com. Let's enter the amount 6,000 kobo. So this will be 6,000 naira. Now that we multiply with 100, so that will be 6,000 naira. Okay, we've multiplied the amount we supplied times 100. Okay, so now this is just a test, so we can test with that. Payment success, and we are redirect automatically to the page, and we can see the info, the status and everything. So let's go back. Now I want to test the currency. There are many things you can add, like let's check the documentation page. If you are initializing a transaction, there are many things, parameters like the currency, even the reference, plan, invoice, metadata. But you can change the currency to just specify the currency. Maybe the currency is GHS. Just put that there, and I think that's it. Okay, so that's not going to work because my merchant account is not configured for Ghana cedis, so it's not going to work. So currency not supported by merchant. So if your account is in Ghana cedis, that means it's going to work. But mine won't work. Like change it to NGN, Naira. So see, that works. So if you want to change to the if you want to change to live payment, all you have to do is what? Copy the live secret key. You know, when we are testing, we use the test secret key. Once we are live, we need to use the live secret key. Okay, so in test, even you don't have to use this, you don't have to turn it off or on. All right, so you can just use that. So I'll just copy the live secret key, go to my environment variable and change it to live. Okay, so all the payment you have to change to live, and you have to make sure this is live. So once you are live, you can do that. Okay, so that's one of the reasons I use the environment variable, so that we can easily toggle between them. And even if you are in a production scenario, production environment, that means you'll be using what? Live secret key. Okay, so test at test.com. So 98,000. So this is the live secret key, but I'm not sure I want to pay that. Okay, so I think that's all. Thank you very much for watching. So if you have any question, drop it in the comment section. So I'm going to release a GitHub repo for this project. I'm going to drop the link in the description. So thank you very much for watching. Bye.